ECD
All right, so
and its matters.
we want to look at the issues happening in Kumasi. The onion market is being raised down, and the market traders are not having it. So the story here is on citinewsroom.com. Ashanti region tempest flare as REGSEC demolishes Kwadaso onion market. The hundreds of sheds at the busy Kwadaso onion market in the Ashanti region were demolished on Monday, April 22nd, as traders rushed to salvage their belongings. Now, Ashanti Regional Security Council, REGSEC, in a recent directive, ordered onion traders to leave the market, citing the security risk of their operations are posing in the area. The council said parking of heavy-duty trucks on portions of the road near the market is causing vehicular traffic, especially at peak hours. The council also attributed a recent accident resulting in the death of a 45-year-old woman to the activities of the traders. Although the traders were given April 21st, 2024, to move to the new area at Atrima, Techiman, the majority of them were reluctant to relocate. Armed police and military officers have been deployed to the market to oversee the forced relocation of the traders and the demolition of the market. Affected traders have been expressing their frustrations to Citi News, arguing that they were not officially notified and given sufficient time to prepare for the move. They claimed they were under the impression that they would be able to purchase the land and were in the process of raising funds for the purchase. One said, "We were at the workplace and we saw the military and police all over with a bulldozer that they were going to, that the regional minister and MCE are relocating us, which we were not aware of. We just heard it on the radio, and you can't relocate somebody based on what he heard on the radio. You have to give the person an official notice and give time, maybe 3 months or 4 months, that we are relocating you before you can relocate us." Okay, now let me just quickly come to you. Kapiti,
Yeah.
this matter, we've done one in Accra.
Right. Right.
You know, it's happening again here.
Former minister.
It seems as though, from the report, that they were actually given a heads up that this was going to happen. But some people are saying that they were rather under the impression that they'll be given the opportunity to buy the land that they were on.
Yeah, you hear several stories when such happens, but let me go back again. I mean, like I told you, I'm not too young. I remember the breaking down of Masalachi. That was in the 80s. I was very young then, but you know, it had to happen. It had to happen, and it wasn't easy, you know. So from then, you ask yourself, from then, how have we carried out those, you know, moving people away? How easy? And what have been the lessons over the periods? I mean, under every government, some of these exercises are happening. So the most important thing is, yes, there has to be a pull down of these structures. But how effective has been the dialogic platform for engagement? It is one thing informing the person, and it's another thing engaging with the person. In our country, when they say stakeholder engagement, they can invite you to a meeting and tell you what they want to do, and that's engagement.
Okay.
This country, that's what usually sometimes happens.
But what else should you do?
You see, engagement is you pre-inform the person by a letter, give them what you want to do, they come into a meeting, you re-echo what you have said, and then they have a chance to also speak their voice. It does not mean you are under any obligation to take what they have said. But maybe by that engagement, you can, yes, they will move, how they will move, when they will move, and what you can do to even support their movement is very important. So I think if they engaged well, I mean, the blame will not go to government alone. The leadership of those people, they should also start looking with a different eye on their leadership. Some leadership will go into the meeting and say something else. They will come to you and say something else. It's a common human behavior. And they can come to you and say, oh, we are speaking. But maybe when they go, they just go and sit there and they don't push well for negotiations, and they listen and come back. So at the end of the day, I want them to re-go around their thinking, and then look, the authorities have the power. The authorities are working for the good of all. But I think when they are doing some of these exercises, I always look at it, the human face. I mean, if you have a bulldozer, what about if you are you're actually taking the metals down and then the woods down? Some of these ones can make makeshift, for some people.
Yeah.
Let's just, pull them down, and then you can also bring the whole thing down, and then they can come and collect it away. They say, you see, the charge of fueling that bulldozer at some cost to come and break it and destroy it, but we have to go back and then also dismantle them and burn it or maybe dispose it, rather than getting some carpenters doing that one. It's a bit. Look, our mothers, some of us, forgive me, I may have a soft spot again here, because some of us, our mothers were not bankers.
Okay.
Our mothers were traders.
So even though the traders were given April 21st to move to an area that's already been prepared. Now, to be fair,
at a cost,
we all don't know what the area looks
when
like.
they tell you an area has been prepared for them, they go there to go and pay something to occupy the area.
There was one that was prepared. There were no washrooms. The one where there was that, there were
Exactly.
no washrooms. There was no place of
So
convenience.
all these
and
things
all
you
of
have
that.
said.
So we don't know what the state of that
I
place
think
is.
you have to be
But-
running a consultancy with this government. I mean,
but-
what you just mentioned, a washroom, I don't joke with this one, because for males, let me be a bit gender biased. A male can just stand around another tree, and most of the traders are women.
Yeah.
And aside from just urinating, at that time of the month, they need a complete structure to change.
To be able to. Okay. Paul, quickly.
Yes, Kwegu, before I come to that, just give me 10 seconds. The ECG matter is a national issue. And when it comes to national issues, I believe Parliament is the best place to resolve in this. Parliament should reconvene as a matter of urgency. Convey an emergency meeting of all members of Parliament. Invite the minister responsible for the sector. Whatever the issue is, within this week and next week, it must be resolved.
Okay.
Parliament should reconvene as a matter of urgency, because this is a national issue. It's a threat to our very survival as a people.
Okay.
In any event, I do not know what exactly is going on with the government, especially with Ashanti region. You remember the issue of the KGTR market and how the settlers, had issues with government here and there. Today, it is the onion traders. What's really going on? The last time I checked, this is supposed to be the headquarters or the World Bank, if you like, of the ruling government.
I don't know. Well,
Right.
I mean,
I'm not saying we should condone wrongdoing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that far be it. However, I believe that, just like he mentioned, dialogue is the way forward, is the only way. And guess what? There's even a fine blueprint for us to go with. The former Greater Accra Regional Minister, he was able to move our people from, was it Agbobloshi?
Yes.
To where they currently occupy. And I believe so far it's been worth it. And even the sellers have been applauding him for that. If the Ashanti Regional REGSEC is anything to go by, they could have just consulted the minister.
Yeah.
How he was able to do so amicably without what we are experiencing in Kumasi.
Yeah.
That, for me, should have been the way to go, rather than what we are seeing. Listen, these traders, we know how they started. We sat aloof, watched them, and today they've occupied a very large space.
Yeah.
Even to the point of creating congestion, making it difficult for vehicular traffic. All right? And instead of being preventive from the very onset, even as a regional block, you sat down for the people to occupy the place, and now you are up in arms with them,
Yeah.
being reactive.
Well, I mean, I think that whatever it is, usually when moves like this are made, yes, people will be upset and everything initially, but eventually it benefits the new community that you've gone to. You know, so for example, Ajin Kotoku, when they moved them to Ajin Kotoku, now Ajin Kotoku has become bustling, which wasn't the case before. You know, so
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
So
but like I said, we could have had handled this issue much better than we did. There was a fine blueprint that we could have followed with the regional minister in Accra, the former regional minister, and he could have been consulted on how he was able to handle this, rather than how
the way they're going
our
about
people in Kumasi handled it.
Okay.
Listen, these are breadwinners at home. These are people supporting their kids in schools and what have you.
Yeah.
Please find an amicable solution as REGSEC and make sure there is order in Kumasi.
Okay.